Hello again, you sick, twisted weather freaks, and welcome to another fun-filled, action-packed, and intellectually stimulating springtime edition of This Week in Weather. I'm your host, meteorologist DT from Weatherist.com, the commander of chaos, the colonel of confusion, the captain of catastrophe. It's 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m. here on Thursday evening, no, 8:30 p.m. on the West Coast. We got a lot to talk about weather, even some baseball, and the potential developing El Nino and all sorts of things. So let's get right to it. We'll start out by taking a look at our topics here. We'll be talking about where's my spring forecast, huh? People wondering about that. They're saying, hey, DT, you sick, twisted weather freak, where's this damn spring forecast? Well, I'll tell you what's going on with that. We'll talk about the El Nino coming on fast, major pattern changes coming up here, and then what's this, T-shirts? Weather is T-shirts? Yes, real possibility, film at 11, Moscow in flames. Let's get right to it. Spring for 2014. Where's the forecast, DT? Well, I've not yet got the okay from my clients yet to release to the public. As you know, many of you know, I am a grain meteorologist, and the spring forecast is the big one. Summer is too, but the spring forecast is a big deal. And I got a name out there, and as a result, I have to sometimes check with my different various clients before I can release the spring forecast because they get it first. And it's a proprietary thing and people trade off of it and stuff. So anyway, I may be able to release it soon. I'm hoping so. Otherwise, it won't be much point to it. But maybe this weekend. So we'll see. Anyhow, let's get on to other things. Let's talk about the El Nino. Now that is not an invasion. It looks like a giant, well, something floating in the bathtub, doesn't it? But it's not. Uh, We'll get my marker here. You can see clearly what this is. This is the massive intensifying El Nino developing. +6 Celsius, that's the +6 in there. That's like, what, 11 degrees Fahrenheit? Yeah. And of course, it's headed up this way, in this direction. So that's, we can see the warm waters already reached the areas along the equator here. But it's definitely coming along and very strong and very quick. And I believe it'll start having an impact in May. I know some people are talking about July or August, but no, I think it'll start impacting things in May. If we look at the different forecast models, we continue to see that the models are catching up to reality. And we can see it very nicely here. This is from the MME site and different forecast models here. You can all see the general trend in this direction. But interestingly enough, though, if you notice what happens here, we have this nice slope which develops here going into the summer months. Let me call it my marker here 1 second. And then look what happens in September. It kind of levels off a little bit. So, and this would be right around the high end moderate El Nino. So I'm not sure if it's going to become a strong one yet. I think it will become a strong El Nino at some point. I just don't know if it'll stay strong going into the winter, and that's a little bit of a different issue. If we look at the different spreads, again, we can see the general trend here like this, but then again, many of the models show it leveling off in this direction as we get towards the late into the autumn. So that would keep it at a moderate El Nino event, strong, high end of the moderate. So we'll see if that in fact is the case or not. And the other El Nino models are showing that as well. That's the El Nino models. We can see this is the MJO here. We can see right now that the MJO is in the circle of death. It's completely neutral, so that's not having an impact. And if you look at the European models or the British models or the GFS, they all show that through the early and mid-May that the MJO feature remains in the circle of death. What does that mean? That means the MJO is really, let me just spell it out for you right here. The MJO is going to have no impact. Negative impact at all, no effect whatsoever, because it's in the neutral, it's in the circle of death. So that means whatever else is driving the pattern, that's what's going to continue driving the pattern. The MJO is not going to be it. Let's take a look at the sea surface temperatures here. Now the sea surface temperature maps, this is as of April 16th, we continue to see a huge area of extremely warm ocean water temperatures, which earlier the winter was located out in here. It's now somewhat close to the coast, and that's helped produce the cold spring. We end up getting a positive P&A pattern out of it. But what's going to happen is all this is going to begin to break down because as the pattern begins to change and the Pacific jet comes in, this warm water here will end up being destroyed at some point as the jet starts crashing into the west coast in this direction. So we'll see if that actually happens, but that's what I think is going to happen here. If we look at our actual maps, now this is the map here from April 12th, and we can see some interesting features here. There's our big mean trough here. You can see that there's the ridge right here. You can see it very nicely, and so you can call up there. Here's our Kamchatka low developing nicely here. And this here is the vortex. We have one here, another one here, and a nice broad general trough and a very cold pattern for April. So, and a pretty dry one for that matter. All the moisture is being smashed by this ridge, and everybody else is, for the most part, pretty dry. But now what happens is, now remember what happens to this feature right here. Okay, these two features. Now let's look at this next one. Now this is the current map of what's happened. Well, those two features, which were, here and here, they're now, look what they are. They've gone this way and they've gone this way. So in other words, this whole mass of below normal heights of the vortex, which was over here before, is now shifted over this way. So it's swinging towards here. And what that means is that as it swings and leaves North America finally, this feature will become the dominant feature. And it'll begin to have an impact here. And we'll see how that shapes up and why that caused the pattern to change. Now this is the GFS valid for day 7, and this is the first big system which crashes to the coast this weekend, and we can see the low right here. There's the surface low, probably a pretty good amount of severe weather here in the upper plains for that matter, not a surprise this time of year. There's our trough right here, and there's another piece of energy coming in this way, and again with much weaker blocking here. This big system's off the coast here. This is going to stall here off the coast, and this feature is going to then get backed up, and this feature is going to get backed up, so it's going to become a very convoluted pattern. Now this is the European model for day 5. This is for April 22nd. You can see the system coming in here very nicely. See it right here? There it is. Okay, so this is the Pacific Jet, and there's another one in here. You can see woo, just like that. Very convoluted pattern here. So all this energy coming in from the West Coast, and I don't know if it's because of the El Nino or just because of some other features changing, maybe the Kelvin wave, but it's definitely a much more active pattern in the Pacific. Now this is the European for day 7, and it's pretty similar to the GFS. That system that was in the Rockies, well now it's over here, and the other one is over this direction. So our map would show the one front like this, and then a warm front here, and there's a big system off the southeast coast. So this energy is going to get blocked. It wants to go, but it can't. So it gets blocked and it gets trapped in here. So now we have the energy coming in this way. See the energy is coming in underneath it? All in this direction here. So it becomes a very convoluted pattern, as you can see. If this is the winter time, this would be a hell of a pattern. I got news for you. It's not too shabby happy, but it's not winter, so there you go. All right, so then we can then go to the GFS. This is the GFS at day 8. And again, we see the system closing off here, right there. So the system, this was one of the Rockies, is now come here, okay? And now this becomes trapped. And here's the next system developing. You see that? Right there. So the system is just flying along this Pacific Jet, one system after another. And this is a pattern change. We did not see this in November. We did not see this in December. We did not see this in January. We did not see this in February. We do not like green eggs and ham. We do not like them, Sam. Well, that's a totally different situation. Okay. Let's look at the day 9 models here, and we'll see what's going on with this. Because the entire vortex now leaves North America, look what happens here. First, we have this big feature right here. This is now a ridge. All you can see is in here, and there's an upper low like here. So this is a ridge which is trapped. Here's a ridge here, and we have an upper low here. Now, that means that this vortex, there it is, okay? This was the feature which a few days ago on April 17th was over here. So it's gone this way. That was over here, it's gone this way. That was over here, and it's gone this way. And what that does is that means that the Aleutian low and the Pacific Jet takes over. So look at the howling jet coming in here. Look at this jet coming in here. But more importantly, what the other feature I want to point out to you is this one right here. Look at what develops here in the north, in the central Pacific Ocean. Yeah. See this little ridge here? See this little ridge here? See this little ridge here? What that does is that acts as a compression mechanism. It forces the Pacific Jet to become extremely tight. It compacts the height lines, and that means the Pacific Jet increases in velocity, increases in power, and it drives all the way to the west coast of North America. So as this feature comes in, this comes in like this way. See, it comes in more this way. The more this increases, the more this increases. Same thing here, 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 and here, and here, and as a result, boom, boom, boom. More energy coming that way. And that trough on the west coast is what causes the pattern to change. So that's how all these different features are connected to each other. Once the vortex leaves North America and moves over towards Siberia and central Russia, the whole pattern in North America changes, as it should. Now we can see the GFS here at day 10, and it's just like the European. It's got that big trough right here. You can see just like this. Here's the next one. There's another one here. There's that blocking feature there. So it's a very convoluted pattern. Not a surprise here. One system after another. This is the European at day 10. Now the European is a little different because it doesn't have this huge feature going down like this. You know, this big trough, it doesn't have that. The big trough that GFS had here, notice that it's got a low here and a low here. So let's clear this out. You can see the difference between GFS, day 10, European day 10. GFS, day 10, European day 10. But it's a very convoluted pattern. As you can see, a lot of energy is still coming in on the Pacific Jet, no doubt about it. Now this is the day 10 European service map, and this is interesting. We can see the strong winds coming up this way. Look at this heat over the lower plains. Wow. And look at the cool air coming in this way. So there's a lot of rain, a lot of storms coming up this way. So day 10, April 26th, 27th could be a very stormy, severe weather day. This is day 10, of course, for the Central Plains and the Midwest, assuming that turns out being correct. If we look at the 6 to 10 day precipitation maps, this is from the folks at EarthSat, and we can see, look at all the above normal precipitation here in this area, only in South Central Canada with the moisture, again on the European as well, here in the Pacific Northwest. Still pretty dry in portions of the Southwest, but definitely a lot wetter than it has been. And if we look at the Europe, this is the GFS now at day 12, 288 hours. What's happened is, remember talk about the blocking pattern? Okay, there's our storm, which was here. And this is the other one, which was here, is now got trapped in here. There's the block. See the block forming there? And now this energy, which was in here, that has to dive down to California. And here comes the next one coming in this way. So it gets a very convoluted pattern. Both models show it, and very convoluted patterns in late April and May are very stormy patterns. This is the GFS here at the day 10, the ensemble, and we can clearly see again with the trough energy coming in this way. Okay, there's our trough, boom, and there's another bit right here, and there's the other one in this direction. So very convoluted pattern, no doubt about it. And if we look at the European at day 10, there's the map there. You can see right there. The trough coming into the west coast, another trough over the mid-Atlantic, but very warm over the southern plain states. This is 300 hours out, not much change. It's getting warm here over the plains of the Midwest, no doubt about it. That's a warmer pattern and a stormy one for the Pacific Northwest on the west coast. And if we look at the day 16 to 20, yes, there is a 16 to 20 day model out there. This is from the folks based at ESRL, and what they do is we take the 11 to 15 day analog, as you can see, and we roll it over into 16 to 20. And this is precipitation. Look at all the precip here. Wow! If this isn't a change of a pattern, what is? And then look at the temperatures here. Okay, like I said, folks, pattern change. There you go. Okay. Such high drama. Now, this is the CFS at week 3, 16 to 20 day. And again, you can see, look at the energy here coming in on the Pacific Jet. This right here, see it? There it is. Look at the howling winds here in the Pacific Jet coming in this way. So we still have a bit of a northwest flow here providing some cold air, the energy this way, and that's going to produce a big stormy boundary right in here with a lot of rain. And we can see that on the different CFS models. This is precipitation for week 3. And look at this. Wow, a lot of rain in the Midwest here, and the Plain States as well, week 4. Very impressive. Definite change from what it has been. Our temperatures, yeah, they're a lot warmer. And look where it's cold. Yes, it's cold here on the West Coast. And the Pacific Northwest, here and here, look where it's warm. Midwest, Eastern United States. Midwest and Eastern United States. Definitely a pattern change, no doubt about it. And finally, T-shirts. Yes, this is the first T-shirt that I'll be selling either on the website and or the Facebook page, or both shortly, hopefully the next 48 hours. And I'll be selling a lot more of them with different types of designs on them. So keep an eye out for them. I'll let you know when it's up and running. If you're interested, let me know. I'm meteorologist DT from weatherist.com. I'll talk to you soon.